up, everybody, and welcome to another episode. Hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and share the video. Hit the join button and become a member. Why? Well, members get exclusive content. We just got some yesterday. Getting more today. I'm at you, members. Hit the bell icon on my channel so that you'll receive a notification every time that I drop a video, and you can go and check the video out. If you support me and support the content, leave a comment, leave a like. Help me grow the channel. The Stay Free People movement to go up, people movement. Let's get into it. I said yesterday that it was part 6. Clearly, that was a typo. As you can see from the thumbnail, it was part 7. Yesterday was part 7. This is part 8. Now, I'm going to conclude the story soon. Probably just give you one more story of each guy with a conclusion to that story so that I'm not dragging it on, because this can easily go to a part 50. I haven't really even scratched the surface. I've just really mentioned a couple of squabbles that they had, a couple of situations. But, you know, we were there for years, and this was going on for years. So it gets much deeper than this, but I don't want to seem like I'm dragging it on, and I'm only giving you, parts of it at a time, because the story can get a little convoluted if I try to bunch it all in together so that everyone can keep up. I'm doing separate parts. But again, unless you want different, I'll conclude it soon and move on to something else. Coming up, it's a story on Space Ghost from Neighborhood 9-0. People have asked about the story, as I said last night on my live. And so I'm going to bring that story and tell you what I know about him and the situation that he ended up involved in. Also going to do a story on Nico Jenkins. Most of you know about him, the dude that's on death row, the serial unaliver, if you will. His whole family was involved in his situation, even his mother and multiple sisters of his. Most of you have seen or heard about the story, as it is now a decade old. But I haven't done it, so I'm going to do a story on it and give my take on Nico Jenkins. Other stuff on the horizon. Let's get into part 8 of Tiny Wompty Womp and Big Porky, well, essentially terrorizing the Los Angeles County Jail. And on this occasion, Big Stretch, well, I don't know if he's Big Stretch, but he's a big dude, so I'm going to call him Big Stretch, from 6-0, he was there. We went to court together a few times in CCB, me and Big Stretch. We was on the bus together. We was cool. Him and I were straight. Him and Porky was straight as well. It was nothing personal with most of these situations. Him and Porky was cool. In fact, when he came into the module, he greeted Porky. He spoke to Porky. Porky was right there at his cell door, hanging out by the bars. And Stretch said, "Hey, what's up, Porky?" They knew each other. I believe that they were supposed to have fought in Wayside, but they can never get to each other to fight. But they really just was going to fight one another out of the respect that they had for one another, as crazy as that may sound to some. Porky had heard that Stretch, well, he was hitting hard. Hell, I had heard the same thing, that he had put a couple of people on their backside. And Porky, he was a big dude, more stocky, more grizzly, more chubby even. So, not a lot of muscle to his girth, but still a strong dude. And he was a big guy. But Stretch had muscle to his stature. And as I said, Stretch was at least as tall as I am. And I am 6'6". But he may have been, I believe he was a little bit taller. Stretch was probably about 6'7". with glasses, but a good dude, a quiet dude, mind his own business. Never was involved in any nonsense. I never heard his name in any bullshit. He just really stuck to himself, but he was with his homies. He was with the neighborhoods for sure. But he didn't get involved in a lot of unnecessary stuff, which I respected about him. So he pulled up in the module, and Porky was a couple of sales down from me. And of course, I knew who he was because we had been to court, as I said, together, Stretch and I. So when he pulled up, he spoke to Porky and he spoke to me. Now, Porky didn't say nothing out of the cell as far as like, I need that. That's what people say when someone tells you in the Los Angeles County Jail that they need that, they're referring to a fight, a squabble with you. I need that from you. I need a fight from you. You hear that all the time. Man, hey, where you from, bro? Man, I need that. That means I need that. I need that squat. We got to get in. But he never said that. Porky, not wanting to talk outside of the cell and make a scene, he just greeted Stretch right back. But as soon as the cell doors opened, he went down there to Stretch and he told him, let's get that in, bro. We got to get down. Let's get down and get that over with. We've been trying to get at each other for a little bit, basically. Stretch like, oh, yeah, for sure, bet. It's mandatory. We get that out the way. First chance we get. So, Porky, later on that day, they ran medical or something on a tier and opened the cell doors. And Porky went down there. I went down there with him, but I stood outside of the cell. I didn't go inside because this was not about to be a situation where we packed them out. Stretch was a cool dude, and this was not about a pack out. It's not like this was a Hoover module, and he was out of bounds or nothing like that. Everybody was there. And he had just came from Wayside or wherever he had come from. I believe it was Wayside. And so we were disinclined to pack him out. Most of these fights, again, they were not personal. They were head-up fights. If anybody was getting packed out, it would be Tiny Woonty Woont and Porky or one of the other homies. But we wasn't necessarily packing people out. They wanted to fight these dudes head up because, as Porky said, I'm not a coward. I don't need no help. I'm gonna squabble this dude head up. So I went down there just in case, though, he pulled out a weapon or something. So I had a tool, and I went down there just to watch. But I stood outside of the cell, and had he put out a weapon, I'd have got the cell door hit and ran in there real quickly. But I feel like he would never do anything like that because Stretch, again, was a stand-up dude. A strong dude, and I'm sure he felt like, he can handle Porky. To tell you the truth, because of his size, and again, even though Porky was a big dude, not in the same way that Stretch was. Porky ran inside of the cell. They didn't say anything. Everyone that was inside of the cell, they got out of the way and got on their bunks and left them there on the floor to get it in. Porky going there, everybody dispersed, get out of the way, get on their bunks. They just throw up their dukes and start fighting. They don't say anything to each other. They already know. They already spoke on it. They already know what it is. Let's just get it in. So that's what they was doing. They started fighting. They started squabbling. And Stretch, yeah, indeed, he caught Porky with a banger. It wasn't a swim banger either. No Michael Phelps. His eyes was open, all four of them, at the same damn time. And he was hitting, boom, boom, boom. And he caught Porky with a good one. And Porky, well, he took a couple of steps back. He did. And he even shook it off and said, whoa, shit. He told me later, man, that motherfucker hit me hard as hell. I said, I know, I saw it. I saw it. But as he took a couple steps back, he threw his dukes back up, Porky did, and he continued to fight. He did catch Stretch with a good one as well. I know that because Stretch, shook his chin a little bit like, okay, cool. Like, all right. Okay, he talking just like that. This how they in there fighting, bro. They ain't like, Porky said what he said, and he took a couple steps back like, whoa, Stretch had a little smirk on his face, like, yeah, caught you with a good one, huh? And then he did the same thing when Porky caught him with a good one. So they fought. They kept going back and forth with each other. But Stretch was hitting Porky pretty hard. They both sat down for a minute, essentially, and took a little break. And I basically told Porky then, all right, you want to come out, bro? You want me to get the cell door hit? It's over? And they both looking at each other. Probably neither one wanted to say, yeah, it's over or whatever. So they both essentially at the same time said, let's go one more time. They both said it almost at the simultaneously, bro. Let's go one more time. Because they both had felt each other out in that first fight, and they both, I'm sure, had a plan as to how they was about to approach the second fight. How they was going to get the other on the ground. So they said, okay. They rested for a few more seconds, and they jumped back up, and they went back at it. Like Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. Two big motherfuckers. And they was in there squabbling. They grabbed each other for a little bit because they was tiring out. Stretch was in better shape, but he was a big dude too. Really, you got to disperse of your opponent, dispatch of him quickly. When you a big dude, you ain't gonna last so damn long. So they going at it, they was getting tired and basically pushing each other, but then they still throwing punches too. They throwing punches. Just a little bit more tired, exhausted punches. But they're still swinging at each other. This went on for some time. Then finally they both said, all right, man, you good? You good? Yeah, we good. Boo. And they shook hands, bro. They shook hands because, as I said, they really respected one another. Even more so after this fight, which went on for some time. They rested and then went back at it again for some time. They couldn't help but to respect one another. Everyone who was watching couldn't help but to respect both of them. And that's exactly what happened. They both earned my respect, Stretch and Porky, for that fight and things that they did and how they comported themselves from the beginning. No smut. And that's just that. So they got it in. Stretch stayed there in the module for a little while, and then he left to somewhere. With monumental respect from all involved. Did Stretch. He left with respect from everyone. His homies, my homies, everyone. Because of the way that he comported himself. And that was the end of that situation right there. Someone told me to say or speak on how Tiny Goofy ended up on the PC yard. And I said that I wasn't going to drop you off and then not pick you up. That I wasn't going to take you halfway. When you're riding with me, we riding and dying together. And that's just that. All the way. So I'm not going to bring you a part of the story and then stop. I mean, I'm all in at this point. I'm not going to leave you hanging. So I am going to explain to the best of my ability without compromising anyone, because I know that Tiny Woompty Whoomp is trying to get home. You know what I'm saying? And he wants to come home. In fact, I got word that he wanted to talk to me. Somebody told me that last night on my live. He was trying to get my number to holler in, probably about these stories. So I'll let you know how that went down. But again, I'm going to be careful. But I have to tell you the whole story. But I'm going to be careful. I'm just going to tell you what's really already public knowledge. Or people already know what happened. You know, hell, he's on the PC yard, so everybody knows what happened. You know, a lot of different people know what went down. And again, most people don't agree with him being there. Felt like he should not have been there. That he should not be there. I happen to be one of them. I don't believe he should have been there. You draw your own conclusion, You form your own opinion when I give you the facts of what happened. You draw your own conclusion from there. Coming up, well, part 9, hell. But I'll probably start concluding the story, as I said, the series. But in part 9, I'll probably bring you another squabble that Porky had. I don't know if I want to tell y'all about this, but I'll decide, and I'll start concluding it. But also coming up is the story on Space Ghost from Neighborhood 9-0. He had hands too. Was a prolific boxer. Then he turned the corner, went a certain way, and ended up getting himself life in prison. Story's crazy. Stay free, people!